Cultural industries call for recognition. Residents of Walfish Bay rejoice over food parcels. And there's no proof that Tombo contains more than 3% alcohol, says AR Movement.
Over the past few weeks, hundreds of residents of the Central Khomas region have been flocking to regional offices to demand food from the government. This comes despite the Ministry of Finance giving $750 Namibia to those most affected by the COVID-19 crisis. But this process has frustrated many, as it has only managed to support over 200,000 of the supposedly 700,000 targeted beneficiaries. The central and most populated region of the country, Khomas, has seen over 50,000 inhabitants in need of food aid during the COVID-19 outbreak. From this figure, only 30,000 are verified and 6,600 have received food parcels. Many have since been turning up at constituency offices in big numbers to demand for food, at times defying movement restrictions and social distancing measures set in the state of emergency. In the Windhoek rural areas, as in other parts of the region, help has mainly come from individual and business donors, which has not been enough and has often been misconstrued as relief from government.
I live with my 3 children and we are always hungry. The other day, I had to go clean another person's yard just to get a little food. Just look at the condition I live in, and I did not even get the $750 or the food. I got absolutely nothing.
Ek het niks gekry nie, niks het ek gekry nie.
Ja, ons het vir gesê ons wat pensioner geld kry, ons sal nie die kos kry nie.
We were told that pensioners will not get any food because we already receive money from the government. Now I was talking to my kids recently because they want to come and help me, but they are not able to travel and come to where I am. I just don't know what to do anymore.
Nou, ek weet nou nie hoe sal ons nou maak nie.
Ek weet die man kry swaar. Maar jy het gesien die kos is daar maar.
Just imagine, I saw the food at the office the other day, and when I gave my name to get something because I'm unemployed, I got nothing. So I don't even know who's at fault for some of us not getting.
Die government se fout is of wie se fout dit is.
The Windhoek Rural Office at Groot Hope continues to distribute drought relief to constituents that reside in its many settlements. Speaking to its councillor this week, Penina Inga Ita says the government is trying all it can to rescue vulnerable Namibians from hunger.
The Windhoek Rural Constituency received a donation from MTC, which was 240 parcels, food parcels. This was just distributed immediately. And it did not even cover our constituency. It only covered small points of small areas within the constituency. We therefore also receive 80, food parcels, and it was also distributed. So 80 and 240, you have about 360, isn't it? So just imagine we have identified more than 15,000 people in one constituency that in need of food. Windhoek Rural. As much as we are looking at right now remedies on giving people food and giving people shelter, we also need to look at what are we going to do after COVID-19. Are we saying that, the people without shelter should go back to the street? Or are we now going to be able to provide means, and how are we going to do that? So we need all stakeholders to come on board. So the Khomas Regional Council, and it's not just the council, it's the Regional Disaster Risk Management Committee. Of course, the chairperson of this committee is the chairperson of Khomas Regional Council, who is Honorable Rachel Jacob. So we can be able to do, this can be able to be coordinated. It's an unfortunate. Some people are using this as a mere campaign. I think this is not a campaign. This is to save every Namibian, to be able to coordinate our effort effectively.
The Regional Disaster Risk Management Committee is at the helm of the program, receiving donations and distributing it to residents most in need of food during the lockdown. Inga Ita, however, emphasized that the poor in urban areas are more at risk of hunger than those in rural areas, and is confident in the committee tasked with distribution in the entire region.
My name is Mona. I'm a physiotherapist. Life, as we know, has changed and physical interaction is limited. Exercise is more important than ever. Exercise to improve your lung function. At home, stay safe.
The Finance Ministry has been called to include the creative and cultural industries as one of the hard-hit sectors after a nationwide lockdown was announced by the head of state as part of government's efforts to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at the COVID-19 Information Center in Windhoek, the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture announced that it has engaged the Finance Ministry to include the creative and cultural industries as one of the business sectors severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Ministry has sent a request to the Ministry of Finance to put the sector under the hard-hit sectors as one of the hard-hit sectors, especially for businesses that run within the sector, basically for them to be treated so that they could get some relief during this period, because those businesses have been affected drastically. The other thing is that the ministry will also is putting together a task force that will be inclusive of various sector players to drive a grant scheme, and I think Patrick has already talked about it, to encourage creativity during this time. A lot of people forget is that while we are closed up in our homes, what is it that we engage with? It's film, it's music, we sing, make little videos of ourselves acting or comedy sketches and that sort of thing, and it's just maybe just so that people really understand just how culture is a part of us.
The tourism sector is one of the largest contributors to Namibia's gross domestic product, and it provides direct and indirect employment opportunities to thousands of Namibians. Marinda Steyn from the National Film Commission said that the tourism sector is closely linked to the film industry in Namibia, and the economic impacts of the pandemic on the industry has been felt with immediate effect.
The film industry is closely linked to tourism. There's a spin-off there. And we work, apart from the fact that film is an industry that basically connects so many art disciplines under one umbrella, but we are also creating connectivity between different sectors within our economy. If we're looking at any film production that happens, you are looking at hospitality that is going to benefit from that. You're looking at the transport sector, catering. So all of these support services and sectors are also now indirectly affected. So the economic impact on the film industry has been felt significantly with immediate effect.
The chairperson of the National Arts Council, Patrick Sam, called for the government to urgently prioritize the arts, culture and heritage sectors, as these sectors can provide opportunities for the government to address the high level of unemployment in the country.
News just in. Brace yourselves as One Africa TV's Today on One, our local current affairs lifestyle program, brings you a newly revamped look and feel for the nation at large.
You talk, we listen.
The way they operate have to be different, because we are losing lives here.
With over 1 million impressions on posts, we bring you
community voices,
sport,
Consumer Watch,
social media commentary,
the weather,
and so much more.
Today on One, always there.
Walvis Bay residents walked home with smiles on their faces when they finally received food donations from the municipality. The food distribution process was halted for a few days as chaos interrupted last week while registering for food tokens. Residents woke up early on Sunday morning at the Maltomanene fire station to be in the queue to receive food. This time everything happened in an orderly manner, unlike last week where hundreds of extra people showed up without an invitation, creating problems for the organizers and prompting the police to send people home.
The way forward is that the ones that are not receiving today, it's not to say that we are going to end up here. We are going to solicit some funds and also to see to it that we are going to cater for those also that haven't benefited. So here the food today is coming from the office of the Prime Minister and some donors that we are receiving from our community, and then the local authority from the office of the mayoral fund.
The parcels were handed over to certain groups that included vulnerable and homeless people as well as informal traders. From the 1,045 that registered, 900 parcels were collected. The mayor noted that this was not the end of the food distribution process, as more groups will be identified soon.
Yeah, like I have mentioned, that only 3 groups that are identified to benefit from these foods. Especially the informal traders. We know that some of our informal traders are not here. They are up in the north where they are locked down. So they are not here and they are starting phoning each other to come and receive. But the ones that are here, the ones that have received even their coupons, that's why we are having orderly here.
Residents applauded the municipality, stating that they are now at peace that they will not be starving.
We have to be thankful. I really thank God. This bag can feed 10 people. We are saying thank you.
We are grateful. Where would we have eaten if it were not for this donation? I was a vendor at Ekutu and we lost our income and were very worried. At least this can last for a long time.
The claim battles head, but the government can hear.
The little that the government is giving should be appreciated. Everyone needs the 750 Namibian dollars plus food. There are many people and the government is trying its best. Along with other stakeholders, let us develop a culture of working together and also sharing with others. Some are living 2 in a house while others are more than 5. Let us care for each other.
Although residents were happy for the donations, the Naraval donation was received with mixed feelings, as some residents were secretly murmuring that they expected something else, as some do not eat maize meal.
Hi Namibia, I'm Sister Holder Navasis, registered nurse currently working at Namibian Oncology Center, Windhoek. I'm here to encourage each and every Namibian to stay home in order to slow the spread of the 2019 novel coronavirus. Physical distancing is very important. We will still be socially connected. Therefore, my people, be part of the solution. Stay home.
Affirmative repositioning movement Dimlekeni Nyoma questioned why the likes of Tafel Redler and other light beers containing alcohol content under 3% is allowed to be sold during the lockdown period, while Tombo was banned without any official research done to find out the alcohol percentage the traditional brew contains. Affirmative repositioning movement Dimlekeni Nyoma questioned why the likes of Tafel Redler and other light beers containing alcohol content under 3% is allowed to be sold during the lockdown period, while Tombo was banned without any official research done to find out the alcohol percentage the traditional brew contains.
And when the law speaks about Tombo and other traditional brews, in the very same section, it speaks about the quantity and the volume that dictates what qualifies to be called liquor. But we are told that we can't brew tombo at home. Nobody comes and says the tombo that you have brewed has 3% or more for it to qualify to be liquor. The same that the Red Line and others can be sold. Tombo can also be sold because no scientific evidence has been brought. In fact, when the police come, they don't come with a specimen to test the amount of alcohol in the amount of fermentation period. Remember that tombo becomes bitter in the amount of fermented days.
Nyoma added that other commercially manufactured alcoholic beverages are given preference over the locally produced brews.
It's highly unlikely for Tombo, Kashpembe, Ombike, maybe not Ombike, Epkaka and others to have been fermented over a period of 2 or 3 days. Because you brew it today, it's drank today. It's the same way with Omongo and others, or Katokele and others. But we are told these things cannot happen. But the special treatment that is given to a preferred section of the sector in terms of the race of our country and those with the political and economic muscle to advance their cause.
The traditional brew is mainly made in the capital of Namibia and in the northern areas of the country. Tombo is a mixture of water, brown sugar, straw ham, and sometimes yeast.
Or ourselves as African people, we have failed to acknowledge and appreciate our cultures. So when you talk about Tombo is good, it's something that is brewed by a black people. And it's in the old days, it's not the first time. I remember when I was a small child, even in the times of the Boers, it was also been stopped. So people used to sell them underground, digging holes. So it is not a matter of why they must not sell. For me, I always look at what is the source? What causes that tombo also to our society? I'm speaking from a perspective as an acting chief in Ongungila, where I found my young generation that's supposed to have activities being done. And I can't blame them, because even our ministries or our government have failed to put entertainment studios or spaces into the rural area for the young people not to be caught out by tombo. So my aim is here. It's also destroy people, the tombo. It really, it's not that I don't want them to open it for my people to buy tombo, but I look at who's the victim within the tombo. Maybe not me and you, because we are wealth. We don't think about tombo, but we would like them also to gain money. So the person who's gaining money does not even not care about his own society, because we kill ourselves. So the only thing that is wrong is that if you ban something, then everything must be banned.
In other leading stories, NamPower submitted a tariff application for an effective bulk tariff increase of 3.9%, an increase from an average $1.65 per kilowatt hour to $1.71 per kilowatt hour for the period under review. After studying and fully applying itself on the NamPower application, the Electricity Control Board resolved that the average tariff will not change and therefore will remain at $1.65 per kilowatt hour for the period 2020-2021. This effectively means a 0% tariff adjustment. In determining the tariff, the ECB considered several factors, including the impact of the tariffs on the electricity supply industry, consumers and the economy at large. In order to mitigate the impact of the tariff on consumers and the economy, Especially during times when the economy is struggling, the ECB allowed an amount of 50 million Namibia dollars from the long-run marginal cost fund. The amount will be used by Nampower to supplement fuel costs for Van Eyck and Anigas power plants or procure emergency energy if necessary.
Welcome to Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from the hottest social media pages. City of Windhoek Councillor Ignatius Semba has questioned why City Police Chief Abraham Kanime first gave a resignation notice of 3 months in advance on the 31st of January 2020 and suddenly changed it to retirement. Retirement could mean that the Chief of Police can be granted an extension of 3 years in office by the City Council. Toini said when Kanime was on suspension, crime rate went up, especially in informal settlements, and the residents could not sleep at night. Sikwaya said Kanime could become an advisor to those that take over from him. Astrida said Kanime does not look fit for the job anymore and can easily collapse on duty. Ruben said City Police is successful today because of Kanime's hard work. With almost 2 months into the lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the majority of students in university lost out on e-learning opportunities, as some are allegedly waiting upon a promise of funds from the Namibian Students Financial Assistance Fund of $10,000 to students to enable them to buy computers and have access to e-learning, which thus far has proved futile. Rauha said if NASFAF can't make a loan payment in 2 years, what makes people think they can pay the $10,000 in 1 week? PK said the e-learning will be a challenge as they already face challenges such as lack of data and equipment. Sina agrees with Rauha as in her opinion the signal is bad in some townships. Elizabeth asked why NASFAF is every year late with loan payments. And that is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast every day only on Today on One.
Akili, Akili, this is Akili. She has a secret. Tell us, tell us. When the sun goes down, Akili goes to sleep, and she enters a world where all the animals speak. Akili, 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 Akili. But there is something strange about this magic land. The animals speak English which she doesn't understand, but if you help her out, we know it can be done. Akili can learn English and it will be fun. Akili!
Yeah, you planning something?
Just wait and see. Yeah, mess with me. But I'm not gonna sit in the corner and lick my wounds.
Strange how I always keep associating the smell with teeth.
Give it to me.
But I thought you weren't going to use it.
everything that ever meant anything to me, every single thing.